Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall Fan Show with the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2022-23 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talkings, Our Millwall Fan Show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Kai Bennett, Ted Robinson, and Stan Godwin.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, welcome, guys, and a big welcome to Kai on his very first appearance as a panel member on our Millwall Fan Show. Welcome, Kai.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much for having me. How's everyone doing?
Doing okay, mate. And yourself?
Yeah, we're all right, Kai. We're all right.
Yeah,
They'll soon get used to us. Don't worry.
They'll be behaving themselves. Before we talk about our match at Norwich, Pippa Burnige was given a flag by a steward at Carrow Road after the game. She will leave it in her car to bring to the Reading game. Please let us know if it is yours or you know it belongs to, and we will pass that info on to Pippa. Well, the Lions' last outing was a 2-0 defeat away to Norwich at Carrow Road. It was a third game in 8 days for the Lions, but was it a game too far? What do we reckon, Kai?
Yeah, it was a difficult game, wasn't it? It was always going to be a hard game against Norwich, a team that's just come down from the Premiership. But I thought first half we managed it really well. We had that sort of curse going over our head of conceding early goals in games, but it was quite clearly that we wanted to set up and keep it tight early on. I think the best way to do that is by keeping possession. In the first 5-10 minutes, Norwich struggled to really lay a glove on us, struggled to even get the ball off us at times. Yeah. And then obviously as the game went on, it got more and more open. Second half, it was always key. We started the same. Unfortunately for us, we couldn't quite replicate that, and we conceded a sloppy goal. Second one, you could argue that there's a foul there, but still, I think it was a good first half performance. There was plenty of positive signs, and it was really positive to see Andreas Vogtslamer and Zian Fleming on the pitch together. I think they're going to be two real crucial players for us this season.
That's fantastic. And the way you said Vogtslamer will put you in Jeff Burnige's good books, because he's our German knowledgeable person and told us all we were saying it wrong last week. Ted, over to you.
Well, I think it's the last time Kai should come on because he's just said everything I was going to say. No, I think Kai summed it up pretty well, to be quite honest. The first half, because of the troubles we've been having, it was pretty clear that we would set ourselves up, which I think we would have done against Norwich regardless of how we've been going, to be quite honest, to sort of stem the flow that Norwich would throw at them in the first place. Because let's face it, Norwich will be up there come the end of the season. They've still got some Premiership quality sort of players around, and that if you can leave Pookie on the bench, you can't be a bad team, can you? And I thought we dealt with it fairly well, though it was not the best or most attractive game of football you could ever wish to see. But where we was lacking a bit was, obviously going forward. I was a little bit disappointed with George Honeyman on the day. I mean, George Honeyman, we know what we get out of George Honeyman defensively, him shutting people down and blocking people out. But I want to see a bit more from George going forward. It was sort of, I don't think he was sort of non-existent to me. Which brings me on to when Zane Fleming came on, who looks to me to be a natural number 10 because he sees a pass, a couple of passes nearly went through. And we did have chances in the second half. In that game, one at Bennett on a day when the centre forward scoring goals, that goes in. He flicked it and it went over. There was another one that I can't remember who pulled it back, but Hutch got his head to it. If he'd have let it go, what was his name, Kai? The German fella?
Andreas Vogtslamer.
That's what I was going to say, exactly. That fella there, I think he was right behind Hutch and would probably had a straightforward header. So it's easy to get sort of disappointed when you lose. I hate losing more as much as anybody else, but I've got to be honest, some Millwall fans are getting on my nerves because we lose a game and all of a sudden we're rubbish, row it out and whatever. We were playing Norwich, for God's sake, and it wasn't like they slaughtered us. It wasn't like we wasn't in the game. We was in the game for more or less all of it, And I just think we've got to look at positives for things like that. Zion Fleming and Volkshammer are new to the team. They've got to bed themselves in. You can't expect them to be up and running from the word go. But I agree with Kai. They both look like they've got a little bit of something about them to me, something that we've been lacking in the last season. So I'm excited, and when them two settle down, and it was like we say, third game in 8 days, hard work, but we was in the game all the way through, and I see a lot of positives there.
Good stuff, Ted. Good stuff. Still, I remember us losing about 6-1 at Norwich. Can you, Stan?
Yeah, I can. And that was Holloway, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. But anyway, that's what less said about Ian Holloway, the better. But no, I mean, I watched the game myself. There was some pluses there, right? I mean, I agree with Ted in relationship to the two new signings. They look good, and the German guy, I've seen him when he come on before, and they look as if once they get accustomed to it and whatever, I think that they'll be fine. I mean, I don't think we won't be saying, I don't know, in a couple of months' time, they're duds, because I don't think that for a minute. But it's funny you say that, Ted, about some Millwall fans, because when we was after this German guy, right? I mean, at the time, I didn't know anything about the bloke, right? All I know was what I read on one of the Facebook groups, and some bloke says, "Oh, is this a signing out of panic or despair or something?" And I said to him, "Well, what makes you say that?" I said, "I mean, why do you assume that?" Right now, as it turned out, that club he's come from, Berlin, over the last 18 months, they've had about 3 or 4 players that have gone out, left there, and gone on to make a bigger name for themselves in bigger teams. So, I mean, there was one point in the game. I mean, it just does my head in. We're attacking their end, right, and they lump the ball out. That's Norwich, right? But whoever it was, they just head the ball straight back. Right now, they had room to bring it down and play it, but they didn't. They just lumped it back, headed it. And the Norwich geezer who gets the ball, he does exactly the opposite. He gets the ball, brings it down, and starts another attack. And I think to myself, why do we keep doing this? Right? I mean, these are seasoned pros, And I find it frustrating. There was times when all we were doing was just lumping it forward. Well, if you want to get playoffs and all that sort of thing, it's no good doing that, because you just ain't going to do it against these quality teams.
No, we're not.
No, I mean that's what gets me. You got people keep telling me, and I don't disagree with them. Oh well, it's quality in the championship and all that. I don't disagree with any of that, right? Because there are real quality players in there. But then you got to play the right game, and if you don't, you're going to be forever chasing the game. And there was times last week, that's exactly what we were doing. Yeah. We kept giving them the ball back. Yeah. That does my head right in.
Absolutely, Stan. You do pursue that issue quite vehemently when it does occur.
I know players, whoever they play for, they're going to give the ball away and well. I mean, we all know that. We've all played for. I get all that, right? But we're talking about people that are professional footballers. And I just think to myself, well, if I can see it, what must Rowett be thinking?
It's about making decisions on the pitch, though, Stan. That's what it comes down to.
That's right, yeah.
As I've said to you many times before, I don't give a damn if it's 1 pass or 20 passes, as long as the ball goes in the back of the net. And if you watch the Premiership sides, they're not adverse to knocking a long ball, but their long ball is more accurate than ours. When you say that we lump it, the reason is you're saying that is because we lump it to no one. When you see it in the Premier League, it's a pass to someone. It might be 60 yards. And Liverpool, and I've seen Liverpool, Man City score goals recently where it's literally come straight from the goalkeeper. So it happens, but it's as you say, it's decision-making on the pitch.
But never mind, we will take a break there and hear about the new fans' matchday programme.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials, or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme at protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Kai Bennett, Ted Robinson and Stan Godwin. Don't forget, have your pound coin ready or buy 5 for a fiver. Our first guest tonight had 2 spells at the Den, one as a left back and the other as a coach under Neil Harris. He played 88 times for the Lions, scoring 4 goals. He also won the Supporters Player of the Year in the 2008-09 season. After the Lions, he played for Gillingham and AFC Wimbledon. In total, he played 372 times, scoring 13 goals, I'm reliably told. And I can hear you already all shouting, yeah, it's Andy Frampton. And of course it is. Welcome, Andy Frampton.
Hi, chaps. How are we doing?
All right, Andy, how are you?
Evening, Andy.
Yeah, all well.
That was good. They all spoke to you. It's always a bonus. Anyhow, before I let you off to them, Andy, remind us about how you became a Millwall player back in 2007.
I'd had a season or a few seasons down at Brentford, and at the back end of it, we struggled. We lost a lot of players, and during that time, we really were battling at Brentford, and I didn't realise that Willie Donaghy was coming to watch me play left back for Brentford then, and he signed me in 2007, the summer of 2007. I think Tony Craig had just left, or he knew Tony was leaving to Crystal Palace, and he needed a replacement. I think that was as simple as I can put it.
So it was TC to AF, all in one foul swoop. Can't be bad. Can't be bad. He's still at it, Tony Craig. Amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, still
it is
getting sent
amazing,
off.
and actually, it's fair play to his professionalism that he is one of the best professionals I ever played with.
Yeah.
When he came back to Millwall, he gave it his all, as we all knew. But the reason why he's still playing is the way he looked after himself. I can't really say the same for many of us, but anyway.
He did well.
It's funny you say that, because I read a bit in the Football League paper on Sunday, Andy, and he's got an interview there, Tony Craig, and you know he makes the point, or the guy makes the point, because he's got his A and B license. Is it A, B, or A and B UEFA license? He said and that, Tony Craig said they're in the draw, but he puts it down to the fact that, you know, he looked after himself, all that sort of thing. And he said there was times when he could have gone out but didn't, and he's now reaping the benefit. Although as fit he is, I can't imagine he'd be playing for much longer. You know,
No, absolutely not.
37.
Yeah, he must be. Well, he should be by now, because that makes me feel very, very old if he isn't. But that sums him up. You know, he loves the game so much. I mean, we all do. Let's be honest. Whether you're a fan, pundit, player, coach, whatever you are, if you're still in the game and you're really at it, you love it. And he's got everything in his armoury, not only to continue playing for maybe another season or two, but then to step seamlessly into the coaching world because of all the experience, the amount of clubs he's had and appearances he's played.
Yeah.
If I'd have looked after myself, I'd have given Messi a run for the Ballon d'Or, I tell you. But unfortunately, living got in the way, I'm afraid.
Over to you, Kai. Over to you. They're getting facetious now.
Hello, Andy. Kai here. How are you?
Hi, Kai. Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Millwall have got off to an indifferent start this season with 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats in the league. How do you think the Lions have started?
Yeah, I mean, when you start off the way you do and you've got those wins, obviously tails are up, confidence is buzzing, and the camaraderie around the place will be high. And you get hit with an unfortunate loss, I think, in the Carabao, although probably a weakened side. I personally, what I've seen, I think the organisation of the whole team and the way they've played throughout the first few weeks suggests there's no need to worry about the indifferent start. the point is, if they're carrying out their jobs, playing the way they are, and they're playing for one another, as we saw on Friday night on Sky. Obviously, it's the only game I've seen live this season. You're not going to go far wrong. And Millwall, notoriously, we grow into a season as opposed to blast it and then hold it. And I think we're in a good position. Come Reading game this weekend, it only takes the win and we hop over them. And it sets us up quite nicely. I think after 10 games, see where we are, and then let's start making a few predictions.
Hi Andy, it's Ted here, mate.
Hello, how are you? All right?
All right, mate. Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good.
It's fascinating. I'm thinking back. I'm an old man now, Andy. Let's be honest about it. I am old, and I'm remembering your days of playing. But football sort of changed a bit now, where you've got the three centre halves come in. I'm not sure whether Neil never really went for that when you was coaching with Neil. He was always still a back four. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you would have. I think you would have fitted that system quite nicely with your style of play. Do you think it's a better way of playing? I know it's just the advancement of football, but what's your take on the tactics? Because Millwall tend to be playing that these days.
Yeah, but to be honest, during my playing days, it was always a four. There was never really talk of a three. We may have gone into that formation if we had lost a player or a certain injury had happened. I enjoyed it when I did play in the three. You have to admit, you're probably right. It probably would have suited me quite well in certain positions. While I was going into the coaching, it started becoming a fad. Everyone wanted to play 3-5-2 or 5-4-1, however you dress it up. And it was a big thing, even during the time I was doing my coaching license, that they wanted to encourage that in the England setup as a management. And we see it at the international game a lot now, don't we? And Southgate plays it quite regularly. I just think it gives you more options. I think it can give an open, free-flowing game. If you do it right, it can make you extremely solid at the same time, even though it looks like you're just playing three at the back. And I think it's the way football's evolved, and it will continue to do so. And I'm sure someone will come up with other ways of doing it. We had that false nine, if you remember that, when Barcelona didn't even play a centre forward. And it just keeps evolving all the time. It's quite exciting. It keeps everyone interested and on their toes.
Do you miss the coaching side of it, Andy?
I do. I think the step away from being a player to the coach was quite a shock. But when you actually get your head into the coaching side of it, it takes over your life. You're concentrating 100% on what the team need, certain individuals need. And away from the actual training pitch, you're looking at the players that you need to bring in, possibly to strengthen in certain positions or give competition. And I suppose you probably can tell by the way I'm talking, I enjoyed it. It was all encompassing, but I did enjoy it while I was in it.
Have you got any plans to go back into it, Andy?
Not at the moment. I mean, I think it's a bit of a struggle to get back into the game at the professional level if you've stepped away for so long, because there are always players retiring. I mean, what is it, 800 players a season more or less step out of the game, and more or less every single one of them wants to become a coach, and they would take over the people that had just left the game over those that have stepped away in those positions more readily, I think. And it is a challenge because it's ever-changing landscape, isn't it, football? Very quickly different managers are coming in. We're now seeing a lot more, obviously this is over many years, the foreign coaches now. I think of British managers that maybe not given a chance when they could be in big positions. When you got Eddie Howe now at Newcastle, I mean, that's a good thing for British coaching. But how many more of those are going to be given a chance over someone who may be cheaper with more expensive mindset from elsewhere in Europe or even further afield?
Do you think, Andy, I'm a great believer in this. Like you say, football's evolved and whatever. And part of that is down to the pitches that people play on these days, I mean, Stan, bless him, loves to go on about people lumping the ball forward and that. And he's, to a certain extent, he's right. When you're playing on the carpets they play on now compared to, I can imagine when you started and I certainly was running around, it leads to football where you keep the ball and that, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the pitches now are unbelievable. Even the Den in the last 10 years has changed a load, hasn't it? Really. I was down there for the whole game at the end of last season.
And there was
And it
grass
looked
on the
like
pitch.
grass on the pitch still. Certainly down the near side, outside the dugouts, that was just a strip of mud, wasn't it? Half the pitch was.
Yeah.
And we were playing in those kind of conditions, trying to get in the playoffs and go up, or at one stage trying to stay up. And you think, the pitches are incredible now. They really are. But again, we tried to play the way they do today, and it obviously didn't quite work. And the best thing to do was turn the other defence and see how they like it, trying to defend their own goal. Now, more intricate, people playing between lines. The terminology's changed, the mindset's changed, the fitness levels are far higher, most certainly. I think the sports science of life.
Sorry, Andy, I was going to say, players today, they look like marathon runners compared to sort of in your day, where more often than not, you come a guy who had thighs like tree trunks, if you know what I mean, running around. Nowadays, they're like Mo Farah. It's amazing.
They are. And they, there's no hiding place. I mean, even when I was at the game back in the last season, I was speaking to a few guys then, a couple of the coaches. And they were saying they've got the cameras up in the roof of the stadium, and they just follow everyone's movement. It's all this GPS as well. They know the distance, they know how many sprints, they know the heart rate, whatever it's at different times of the game. And you think, crikey, I mean, you would really get found out in our day if you weren't running,
Yeah.
I said that wouldn't have helped us at all.
I hope they don't bring that through to fans, because I'll be knackered, mate.
I'll tell you what, though, Andy. I mean, I read. You remember that Ben Watson, didn't you? Used to play for Palace, and then he ended up playing for Wigan and scored the winner in the cup final against Man City. Well, he gave an interview. Again, it was in this paper I read, and it was interesting because he said, like, when he sort of first started getting into the team, he said back in 2002, that sort of period. He said everyone really played a 4-4-2. He said, with the little man and the big man up front. He said they wasn't really tactical in that sense. He said, but like now, he said that's all gone, and it's all now more technical and all this, and and this is one of the things I do bang on about. I don't deny, but I can understand people say, "Oh, well, I don't like the football today." I understand. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I understand that point of view. Especially if they played a different way, right? I understand that. But as you say, it's all changing now, and that's what you got to grasp. It's no good people keep harping on about what we did 20 years ago. Well, fine, but that don't apply now.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
That's my view.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you're spot on. Funny enough, I played with Ben at Palace in my early days, and funny enough, I made him do all the running because I played centre midfield with him. But he was 16, so he could run box to box, and I could just sit in the middle. Mind you, I was only 20 at the time. But that showed you my fitness levels. I was relying on the young lad already. And but it's absolutely spot on what you're saying. We can't keep harping on about the past. I think when you watch the old videos, crikey, even the young people that might be listening tonight wouldn't know what I was talking about when I say the videos. When you look back at the old footage, let's put it that way, you can reminisce and all the rest of it and chat with the people that were around in that time. We have moved on. I think the Championship's probably one of the most exciting leagues in the world. There's no doubt about that. You look at Serie A, no. La Liga, no. You've got the top guns in there. The Premier League is probably the most exciting of the elite leagues. Mm-hmm. But as a champion, as an old school way of playing, even that's evolved. But it's got sides of it that are still similar to the past. And I the crowds and all the rest of it, the raw mentality and feel to the football grounds as well, old school grounds, makes it quite. I speak to a lot of people about it, and they really do like the Championship. They'll put on the Championship game over a Premier League game, certainly. And if there was a tussle and it was the top of the league, or there was a battle going on in playoffs at the back end of the season, they love it. Yeah. It's quite openly spoken about.
They do. Kai, Can we let Kai get in?
Yeah, sorry, there's just something I wanted to say to
guys
Andy. Go on.
are jumping on top of his noise. Kai, have you got a question you might like to ask?
Honestly, that's all good. No, I was just going to say to Andy, what game is prominent in your mind when you're playing for Millwall?
Leeds.
Simple answer.
Leeds was always just unbelievable atmosphere, home and away. Got pounded up at Leeds in my first experience of it, 4-1 under Willie Donaghy. And then when Kenny came in, we kind of turned the tide and became a bit of a bogey side for them, actually. We could outrun them. They had very good players. They had Schmeichel in goal, for example, who went on Premier League title. You had Beckford up front, and other players, Richardson at right back, who I had a few battles with, and Snodgrass in their team. You think of their team, and Delph was playing as well. Their team was quite something for League One. But the battles, the atmosphere at the Den on that playoff semi-final first leg was just off the chart. Yeah. And to go up there and to hold them to a draw, just about, and go to Wembley. Obviously, the end result wasn't what we wanted, but to beat Leeds to get there was quite special, and certainly up at Ellen Road to get to Wembley.
With Leeds, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Leeds always seem to struggle when they come to the Den, but with the Den being quite similar to Ellen Road in terms of hostility, what do you think it is about Leeds, what about Millwall, that Leeds struggle to deal with when they come to the Den?
I think in the past it comes down to the style of our play. I think we were aggressive from the off. They like to dance around the pitch a bit. They had good shape. They could keep the ball, press well, the rest of it. But we were nasty, really, putting it bluntly. We were nasty in our approach to playing football. Spoke to many players after that season and the season after, when I moved on, who played against us in those couple of seasons, and they dreaded it. I mean, they felt beaten in the tunnel. A lot of them said, we just couldn't believe you guys are just shouting at each other. I mean, we don't know what we were shouting, but it obviously intimidated them enough coming out of that little change room we have for them in the away one. Which is like a box, isn't it, really, in comparison to the home one.
It is.
Well, you speak for yourself, Andy. We used to welcome everyone down to Den quite nicely, us Millwall fans.
I bet you did.
It was you lot they were frightened of, not us.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say to you, Andy, I've got to be honest, when I knew you was coming, and I thought, I've got to apologise to him for the year 2007, 2008, because I said some quite horrible things to you, mate. I didn't mean them, but it was just a moment. You was bloody useless that year. But anyway, the following year...
You made me the man I am today.
Well, Andy, I've got to tell you...
skin very quickly.
There's not many players that I think I've known to come back the way that you did from some of the abuse, you would say, maybe that you took. And it's credit to you, mate, that you came through all that and you deservedly got Player of the Year the following year. So... Yeah, I'll give you all the credit in the world for that, because it can be a difficult place for home players, let alone away players, Millwall, and you actually shone through it at the end and proved quite a few of my mates wrong. I always believed in you, by the way, and I always said he's going to come good. They wasn't so sure, but
fair enough.
And I'm sure you must remember that season, 7 and 8 with not 7 and 8, 8 and 9, wasn't it, when you won it with a lot of affection.
Yeah, absolutely. That was very tough. I don't know whether there's ever a timely injury, but I did get a timely injury. I've spoken about it many times in interviews. And I just took myself away from the small bubble I'd got myself wrapped up in, that concerned myself about what the fans thought of me, really, in the way I was playing. And I realised my game was suffering because of it. I wasn't being able to play the way Willie probably saw me playing when I was at Brentford. Full, all out, hard tackling, 110% every week. I wasn't doing it. I felt like I crept into this kind of mindset of, it can be Jack the Lad and play and all the rest of it. Stepped away, watched couple of months, and just thought, right, sod it. I'm going to give it one last go, because I honestly thought I should leave. I mean, it got that bad at one stage. We all know it. It's common knowledge. And there was a game, I think, against Carlisle, I think, end of that terrible season, that we won 3-0. I think it saved us from going down, or at the threat of going down anyway.
Yeah.
And it just changed the whole mindset. I grafted like I'd never grafted before in that off season, and came back flying. And the rest was history, as they say. But I appreciate your apology, but I really don't have any hard feelings about it. It really did turn my career, I think. That
But that's
hostility.
what you've said there, Andy. It's a great insight into the mental side of football. Everyone just thinks you go out and you play football and whatever, but like you say,
Yeah.
you got yourself into a bubble worrying about what people were perhaps thinking about you as a player or whatever, rather than just doing what you knew you was good at.
Yeah, precisely. And it can happen very quickly. And when I spoke earlier about the confidence up in the camp, you can see that at the moment. It's important that the fans always stay behind them as much as they possibly can, because that kind of 12th man, they say, from the crowd on Saturday may be the difference between a draw and a win. And if you can get everyone, I mean, it comes from the players. Let's not pretend it doesn't.
Yeah.
It does come from the players. It comes from the the first 5-10 minutes, the first tackle, the first header, the first chance on goal, the first block, the first keeper save, how you react, and then the crowd get up, and that's when you just stay with them and just keep encouraging them to keep doing what they're doing well. I mean, we could have a good season this year. It would be great to think so. I thought we had a very good season last year.
Yeah.
Unlucky just to miss out. It was probably a stretch in the last day of the season, with so many going for that final spot in the playoffs. But you never know what can happen in the Championship. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. It certainly leaves us in a position where I think with those that we've brought in, we will hopefully be in the mix this season. But as usual, it's great to speak with you, Andy. It's always a pleasure to have you
very
join
much.
us. You may well know that I'm sure you do, know that we're playing Reading at the Den on Saturday. So that'll be a return to the Den with another ex-Millwall player, Alex Ray. He was a tenacious chap.
Goodness me, wasn't he just?
Yeah, he was. What do you reckon? Him and Paul Ince managing those two.
What a combination.
It is. It's a fair old combination, those two together. What do you reckon? Millwall versus Reading.
I think we'll win 2-0.
2-0, that'd be lovely. You'll certainly make Paddy Power feel good about that. I think they've got that as their most favourite permutation. Yeah,
I haven't been looking it up, I promise.
Well, let's hope it is a 2-0. Yeah. Thank you, Andy. We look forward to you returning in the not-too-distant future with the insight that you possess about what is the wonderful game. But for now, bye. Best to you and your family, and take care. Hopefully we'll see you down the Den.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, Andy.
Cheers, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you very much.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, Andy Frampton, what else can you say? Very, very good insight into what the game's about. It's a shame they lost him out of the coaching arena, really.
I think so. I
think he had a lot to offer.
Yeah, didn't he have a problem? Apparently, that was what was said at the time.
Business, wasn't
He
it?
went into family business. That's what it was. That's how it went. Anyhow, before I go very much farther, Martin Cooper is promoting a Charlie Wynn charity evening. Now, you all may well remember that Charlie Wynn was a Millwall fan and he was doing exceedingly well in the world of boxing until he took a blow to the head and it finished his professional career. Well, on Saturday, the 17th of September, at the Eltham Hill Social Club, you can go along and support the charity underpinning Charlie Wynn's improvement in his life. Tickets are a tenner, and you can get them from the Will Shunters this Saturday, where Martin will be there. Just go into the main bar and shout out, "Martin Cooper, give us a ticket." He'll have some. Or you can get them from behind the bar in the Eltham Hill Social Club. There are some great prizes, but if anyone can donate for the auction or raffle, that would also be fantastic. Let us know and we'll put you in touch with Martin, or you can find Martin Cooper on Facebook. We'll take a break there and listen to Debbie Julians and Harvey Brown talking Lions Food Hub.
First of all, let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? It is now located in the Millwall Community Trust car park. That's beside Millwall's Den in Ballina Road. That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need your support, and you can help if you can by making a one-off or a regular monetary donation online at Banquet. That is BANKUET. You should make donations on a match day at the Lions Food Hub, opposite the 1885 bar, the Cold Blow Lane end of the ground. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via their Twitter or Facebook sites.
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Kai Bennett, Ted Robinson and Stan Godwin. Energy and food poverty is rising beyond our wildest dreams from 12 months ago and is likely to double again. But your kindness will be much appreciated and lessen the burden on the many families at risk. Let's hear from Ellis Barr, who looked excellent kicking a football around, wielding a cricket bat recently and sporting her new Millwall kit.
Alice here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
The Millwall Romans and Millwall Pride kick off against each other on the 11th of September in their first league game of the season at St Paul's. We will hear from them once again on the week beforehand. The Millwall Lionesses headed to Saltdean in Sussex last weekend, and both our team members, Debbie Julians and Jeff Burnige, were there to roar them on. Here is Jeff's report from that match.
This is Jeff Burnige reporting for Millwall Lionesses. The London and South East Regional League started on Sunday, and the Lionesses lost their opening match to Saltdean by 3-2. There were 6 new signings in the Lionesses side, 3 of whom were making a return to the club where they had once played as juniors. It was a game in which the Lionesses dominated possession, particularly in the second half, during which young keeper Serena Hand did not have a single save of note to make. Grace Seeley had opened the scoring for the Lionesses on 10 minutes, but a well-taken breakaway goal and 2 speculative long shots sent Saltdean ahead by half-time by 3-1. The Lionesses were without 3 strikers for various reasons and struggled a little to make headway up front against a very defensive Saltdean side who were defending this lead with their lives. The girls eventually reduced the arrears through Maisie Joyce to make it 3-2 and had other chances to equalise, including a really good chance in the final minute. But now the girls must look to next week. We're at home to Aylesford at Salter Road, Rotherhithe, at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Well, there's one alteration to that. It's 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, as I'm sure the new senior media officer for the Lionesses, Kai, will confirm.
That is correct, yes. Looking forward to it. Get down, support the girls. Hopefully they can get their first home win of the season.
Thanks, Kai. Do you know someone, or do you think you know what it takes to join the Millwall Community Trust Post-16 programme and play against other pro clubs? Get in touch with at Millwall_MCT_Academy on Instagram about training and trials. So if you want to get in there for the Millwall Community Trust Post-16 programme and play against other pro clubs, get onto at Millwall_MCT_Academy on Instagram. Next up for the Lions is Reading at the Den. Over the last 10 games against Reading, the Lions have only lost twice when playing in Berkshire. As mentioned earlier, we will also see the return of Alex Ray to the Den. He is currently their assistant manager to Paul Ince. Reading currently sit in third in the league, which is a good start considering most people have them down as relegation favourites following a poor season last year. Despite their position, the betting odds on at best for Millwall to win, and a draw is favoured next beyond 2-1. How do you think we will fare on Saturday? Kai?
I think it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, Reading will come to the Den in full confidence with 2 home wins back to back. But I feel like their last away game will be definitely in their minds. 4-0 defeat against Rotherham, all 4 goals coming in the first half. So their away day, their travels for away games hasn't gone great so far this season. As of ours, really, we haven't been able to pick up that away form we had when Gary Rowett first joined the club. But obviously we're at home this Saturday. We've got a terrific home record at the Den, and Reading will probably. You have to think that we'd be favourites for that game, especially if we can start early, start quick, start aggressively and put them on the back foot. Especially if we can, I'd love to see Andreas Bogslammer and Zian Fleming start and put real pressure on the Reading back line from the beginning. And I think Millwall will come through that game with 3 points.
Great, that sounds good to me. You predict a score?
I'll go for Mill 2, Reading 1.
Cheers, Kai. Ted?
Yeah, they've sort of, because they've won their last 2 games, like Kai said, that they're all of a sudden, 1 minute they was down near the bottom and the next minute they're third from top, which is obviously what happens this time of year. But they've obviously found a little bit of form. And there's no doubt about it, when they've got someone like Paul Ince and Alex Ray in their coaching staff, they're going to be a tough nut to crack, I think. That's quite a funny combination to me, because I can already see the people behind the dugout. I know what they're going to say to Paul Ince, and it'd be slightly different to Alex Ray, I think. But they've always been a decent side, Reading. They struggled a bit at the end of last year, but as Kai's pointed out, we've had a good week this week of training, which is a clear week, I should say, and which has given him, Gary Rowett, time to work on what they want to do on Saturday, how much he involves Vlogsammer and Fleming, how he's going to start. And one thing that Gary Rowett has said is them coming back with Tom Bradshaw gives him far more options than he had, obviously, previously when they was all out injured. So I'm really interested to see what the starting lineup is. But whatever it is, the starting lineup, like Kai said, we get out there early. I think Reading, at this moment in time, very similar to us. They might have a little bit of a soft underbelly away from home. They need to toughen up a bit. Let's hope it don't start Saturday. I've got confidence, and I'm going with Andy's score, 2-0.
2-0. What about you, Stan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any. The only thing I would say in relationship to Reading, I mean, we keep hearing about Paul Ince as the manager and all that, which is true. But as I understand it, unless he's injured, there'll be another Ince playing against us, and that's his boy. Now, and I think it's fair to say that every time he's played against us, Tom Ince, he's normally had a good game, and on a couple of occasions he was the difference between winning and losing. I don't mean for Reading, but I mean for whoever he's played for. So, assuming that he's fit and assuming he's playing, which I would imagine he would do, he will be a player that will need to be watched very closely, because a lot of things go through him. But if I'm hoping, and I agree with Ted about the two, Fleming and Voltshammer. If they're playing, well, that's fine, because I think we've got to be. I don't, we buy these players, and I don't want to keep seeing them sit on the bench every other week, and get. I mean, this, these players need to get, 90 minutes under there, or as near as, so we can see put their talents full to what's the name. But no, I'm confident we can win the game, but it won't be easy. It will be hard, but if we apply ourselves in the right way, then I think we'll win it.
The other thing, Eamonn, what I was saying, I mean, we're all talking about the front line, because obviously that's where we see the 2 new lads possibly coming in and whatever. But I'm interested as well what the back line's going to be, because left Charlie Creswell and Cooper out last week and brought in Hutch and Ryan Leonard into that bit. Does he do that again? A lot of people were asking for Murray Wallace to go out to left wing back and put Cooper in with Hutchinson and Cresswell maybe, or Ryan Leonard. So, there seems to be all of a sudden from where a couple of games ago we didn't seem to have many options. Now we've got options right the way through the team, which is even with midfield with Saville, Shackleton, Billy Mitchell, George Honeyman. You know what I mean? We see right the way through the team at this moment in time. You could ask 10, 20 Millwall fans and they'd all come up with a different team, I think.
But isn't it good that we've now actually got a situation where we've got good cover right across the side? You can't odds that. That's what I think Rat has been looking for a long time. I think we'll do well on Saturday. I think we'll win, and I'm not sure whether it'll be with a glut of goals or not. It could easily be, because I've got a feeling something like that is going to happen. But it's good to hear that everyone's positive about that. And thanks for those views, guys. Wonderful stuff. We'll take a break there and hear what Fantastic Fanatics can do with a little bit of help from ourselves. And that's all of us.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Kai Bennett, Ted Robinson and Stan Godwin. With summer holidays in progress, why not spend through the Fantastic Fanatics site and give a summertime bonus to the Millwall Community Trust? It will help them deliver such activity, holiday camps and walking football and sports for the over 50s. Our last guest this evening is Millwall Supporters Club committee member and Millwall Lionesses assistant manager. And as Gary Staff says, he's a general nice bloke. Well, welcome to the show, Alex Russell.
Hi, Eamon. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to hear that you're with me. And there's some others here who'll say hello, I'm sure.
Evening, Alex.
Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Evening and all.
You sound like Jack Warner, but I suspect you don't know who Jack Warner was. Actually.
Before my
Showing
time.
your age, Eamon. Showing your age.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, Alex, before I let you off to the panel, how did you come to be part of the Millwall Supporters Club?
So I originally went to a Millwall Lionesses game it was 4 years ago. It came up on my LinkedIn, actually. And Michael Avery and Harry Cooper at the time were covering the media for the Lionesses. And pretty much just helped them out week on week and was doing home and away fixtures and just naturally was invited that way, to be honest.
And you blended in that way?
Yeah, blended in and I'm there since, yeah.
And there you are since. And you've accelerated as well through what's going on. So there's something good about that by the sound of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Kai.
Firstly, well done for participating in an amazing initiative out in Kenya, Alex. How did the whole trip come about?
So it was originally planned for pre-COVID. I'm sure like a lot of people's holidays probably were. It was put off, I think, 2 or 3 occasions, but it was something that Sean Daly reached out to me and asked if it was something I was willing to do, and it was a no-brainer really to go out there and put on some coaching sessions. That was mainly what I was out there for, was coaching sessions with young children. I did try and get hands-on with some painting and stuff, but as I'm sure Juvin at the Trust has got a video of, I'm not particularly great at that side of things. But no, it's something different. It's definitely something that you probably never would anticipate doing if you didn't have the opportunity there in front of you. But yeah, that's how I got involved, and I loved every minute.
Alex, Ted here, mate.
Hi, Ted.
All right, mate. Whilst you were out there, Alex, I know you didn't only just sort of help out with the school and that. There was other things you done. What else was it that you got up to whilst you was out there?
So there was obviously we was designated at somebody called Jubilee Academy. It was the school that we was at 5 days a week. But we went out and got involved in sort of the church ceremonies. We went out and we was involved in something called the Walk Centre, which is somewhere this is around the sort of slums area where they invite children and young sort of adults in to learn and sort of progress and make a career of themselves. We bought things off of people that were living in the slums. We was out and sort of helping sort of build and paint towards the buildings of the area we were staying in. So there was quite a bit that we got up to be honest. And we went out on a safari trip, and yeah, it was something different every day, to be honest.
Did it open your eyes up, Alex, to what you was actually out there for the poverty side of things and whatever the community side of things? Is it particularly harsh out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the sort of scenarios, like one, for example, so it was a day where we went around and saw the families of people that attended the school we were posted at. And there was a property which is sort of nothing more than a shed, really. The whole property was the size of what is my bedroom, and you had a pregnant mother and her 3 children living in there. It was quite eye opening. I'm sure they won't mind me saying, but some of the girls that was out there with us sort of had to leave because they got a bit emotional about the sort of situation. That wasn't sort of unordinary, if that makes sense. That was quite a regular occurrence out there. You had people that were situated in sort of shacks in those slum areas because they could be kicked out at any time. There was children sort of foraging through the dumps and trying to find, I think it was something like if they got a kilo of plastic from plastic bottles and they got a 15th of a pound is what it equated to. So they were literally like digging through trying to find some sort of rubbish and stuff to recycle just to even make what probably wouldn't have even covered the cost of a meal. So some really eye-opening things out there, but it sounds horrible, but where they're none the wiser, they were just so content with life and so happy and just took everything in their stride, which is actually quite humbling for sort of us, the more sort of privileged people. They call us Mzungus, which is a white person from the West. So I got called that quite a lot out there, to be honest.
Well, they could have got called a lot worse, Alex. So
yeah, I have been in my time.
Alex, all right, it's Stan here, mate.
How you, Stan? All right.
All right, yeah. As I understand, the MCT are progressing plans to go back next year. How can our supporter get involved, and what do you plan to do on the next visit, mate?
Yeah, so I think there was a meeting last Wednesday. I was actually at training with the girls, so I wasn't able to attend. But I think the plan is for June next year. That could be wrong, but I think it's right. And then there'll be more plans nearer the time as to work out whether or not, if there's anybody returning, if they want to return to the same school or they want to be posted elsewhere. But essentially, you just go and register your interest on the MCT website. And I'm sure it's Shona led the trip year just gone, but I'm not sure who's leading next year's one, but someone will be in contact. And literally, so you can start planning now. It's quite expensive, but you can fundraise the whole event, and that's what the MCT look to help you do. And you can plan and bring. You get 2 suitcases to bring. So one's obviously for your living essentials whilst you're out there, and the others can be solely for donations. So planning well in advance now, you could make it a really sort of memorable trip.
What would you say are the benefits in individual development?
I think, like I say, it sort of opened my eyes a little bit in terms of when I came back. I was having a bit of a quarter-life crisis. I came back on the Thursday and I resigned from my job on the Monday. So it made me realise that I don't have to put up with rubbish, essentially. And, if the people are out there living and how happy they were with how little they had, then my life wasn't too bad, really. I could take a bit of a plunge in the deep end and go and try and do something different. And I've not looked back, really. Just little things, just like at training, sometimes, the girls might moan about, his balls are a bit flat. And I just think to myself, you don't know how easy you got it. Like, honestly, I was playing football with kids that had holes in the ball and the ball wouldn't even stay inflated. So just little things like that, just being able to come back and realise and appreciate what I've got, essentially.
Yeah, it's something like that's always good in the CV as well. I know that. Absolutely. I used to spot that immediately years ago when I looked at Dean Wilson's CV. So yeah, that was quite good, really. Anyhow, thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we will hear from you again along the way about how the plans for Kenya Part 2 are coming along, and all the best with the Lionesses this Sunday. And just a reminder, as I pointed out earlier on, it is a 3 p.m. kick-off at Salter Road, right, for the Lionesses, not their usual 2 p.m. So before you go off, I must ask you, as is the tradition, how about a prediction for our match against the Royals at the Den on Saturday?
Well, we're unbeaten in 5, so the Millwall thing to do is to go 2-0 down and try and make a comeback. But I'm going to go for a quietly confident 1-0.
You're going for a quietly confident 1-0. That sounds good to us. No one has said anything other than a win on the show tonight, so I'm pleased to declare that Paddy Power must have it right because they're giving such incredible odds-on price for us. So there you go. Thanks, Alex. And all the best to you and the Lionesses, as I said, coming up this Sunday. And look forward to speaking to you again. Bye, Alex. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Eamonn.
Good luck,
Thanks,
Alex.
Good luck,
Good luck, Alex. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, he is an all-round nice guy, as Gary Staff says. And some interesting facts there about the work of the Millwall Community Trust there out in Kenya. They've done some great stuff, no doubt about that. And strangely enough, we've got Bethany Warren talking about how to support the Millwall Community Trust.
The work of the Millwall Community Trust makes a big difference for people in Lewisham, Southwark and North Kent. Times are getting tougher, and to help them make a difference, you can help too, by making a donation. Give a one-off donation or a monthly amount. Your support is crucial in raising vital funds for their work. Or by fundraising for them. If you are running, swimming, cycling, cooking, dancing, parachuting or anything else, why not do it for the Millwall Community Trust? Interested? Then either email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. I'll say that again. Email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. Thanks if you can.
It was great that we heard that Bethany had recovered from COVID this week, and we look forward to having her back on the show soon. Anyway, I'm Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes a Talking team, Kai Bennett, Ted Robinson and Stan Godwin. The work our trust does is second to none, not only in those areas of London and North Kent, but as you heard before, in Kenya too. If you can make a donation, it will go a long way to help others in our community. Well, here's looking forward to the games ahead, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
First off, what about sponsoring a player, enjoying a great Executive Lounge VIP package with family and or friends, or just getting behind the club in a number of different ways that includes business propositions from advertising to sponsorship? Just contact the wonderful team of Andrew Stead, Edgar or Lucy in the commercial department to find out more. And it's good night from me.
Next week, Eamonn is back again for the show on Friday at 8 p.m. to host Pat, Dave and George. There will be a review of our game and a preview of what is coming up with a couple of guests too. Don't miss it. Also, the next Millwall History and Heritage Tour takes place on September the 24th, starting at 11 a.m. and tickets are currently on sale on eventbrite.co.uk. Just search for Millwall History and Heritage on the site. Also, Mike George, a member of the team, has created an image of the front cover of Brian King's book. He wants to auction the image for the benefit of the Millwall Community Trust. If you would like to bid for the image, please email noonelikesustalking@gmail.com. That is NOLUTALKIN@gmail.com. And the winning bid received by Thursday next week will receive the image. You can view the image on the Millwall History and Heritage Tour site on Facebook. And that's good night from me.
There is a date change to the Phil Walker Memorial event. It has been moved to the 3rd of September 2022. Due to the feedback with many of the children who attend our football school being on holiday, we have decided to move the memorial event along 1 week to Saturday the 3rd of September. For us, the children who attend are the most important element of the Memorial Day. So many of Phil's football children were distraught when he passed Therefore, we feel it is our responsibility to ensure collectively that we can all say goodbye together. We are very sorry if we have disrupted any plans. If you have an RSVP invitation already, will you please attend? There is no need to RSVP again. If you cannot make it, please drop Tamara an email at philwalkerfootballschool@gmail.com. That is PHILWALKER school@gmail.com. Good night from me.
Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away and updates on Mill Community Matters too on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Links are on our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter social media sites and all popular podcast sites. Well, that's it from me. Thanks, Kai, on your debut. Ted and Stan. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.